Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast where host Jessica DeMent is joined backstage by her guests to banter about theater at Butterfield in Gainesville, Texas.
Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I'm your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by one of our actresses in our upcoming show, The Wolves. This is Missy Embry. Hello, Missy.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So before we begin, why don't you tell me a little bit about your theater background?
Oh, totally. So I'm from Gainesville, and so I got my start at Gainesville High School doing theater for one act play there, and then went to NCTC and was in so many shows there. I was there for 2.5 years, I believe. And then I moved on to Sul Ross State University, where I got my BFA in theater, and then eventually left with my MA. And I'm currently one of the theater professors at NCTC.
Wow,
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, congratulations. That sounds like
Thank
a
you.
great theater background. I also went to Gainesville High School and did one act. What year did you graduate?
2008.
2008. Okay, I was 03, so I was in and gone before you came along. So, but definitely a core part of most people's theater background, I think. Let me see here. Let me see my questions. So tell me the character that you're playing, and then do you identify with your character at all? And if so, why or why not?
Yeah, so I play number 14. She is kind of the sidekick best friend to the mean girl on the team, midfielder for any of you soccer fans. And as far as identifying with her, I really do. And it's more that the thing that you try to grow out of, that super insecurity of not being perceived or seen. And so you try to mask with other things. And so I think it's why she's latched on to the friend group that she has. Because if I'm the one pointing it out on someone else, no one's pointing it back at me. And I think that we all kind of can relate to that, of like not wanting to lead with the things that make us different when we're that age. Because it just kind of spells trouble of being, made fun of or things like that. And so I think that I definitely went through that. And so I think that most days I'm on the other side of it. But yeah,
I can understand that. When Allison and I sat down and chatted about the show, she talked about some of the heavier topics that the show covers. How are some of the ways that your character either is impacted by those or deals with some of those things within the show?
Yeah, so my character really deals directly with some of those major heavy themes within the show. Anyway, I think it really highlights the youth of these characters in that they don't have the tools to deal with it, and they don't have the outlet to communicate. It's that perfect age of like, I'm not telling my parents everything that's going on. And so you're really watching them internally struggle. And I think that my character especially, she's got some really deep trauma that she's not able to express because it comes out in judgment. And that whole thing of, well, it's not that big of a deal, sounded like you wanted it anyway, those kinds of things. And so this show really does kind of highlight what young women, but mostly just young people, what they go through in dealing with all of this stuff, just socially.
Yeah. And that's definitely a lot, especially for that age group. And I mean, I know 20 plus years ago when I was that age, it was a lot. And I think to myself so many times, like, I am so thankful that, like I went through my teenage years before so many of the things, like so much of the social media and stuff like that. And the way that it really just kind of impacts just that growth and that development and increases that level of vulnerability. Like you were saying, you don't want to lead with your differences because that just puts that bullseye on you. And, today it seems like there's so many more opportunities for people to take shots at that. So I could not even imagine being a 14-year-old girl today.
I know. I mean, truly, just the thought of, I was well into college before Snapchat was even a thing. And so I really had the luxury of, I missed all of that. And so I never had to worry of, is someone filming me acting a fool somewhere, and it's going to end up where everyone in the school is going to know, or the whole world could know, because I could go viral.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. The like to go viral for all the wrong reasons is a fear we didn't have. So. Oh, before this show, so this show, for those who don't know, is about a soccer team. So all of you ladies are actually going to be engaging in soccer warm-ups and things like that while you are doing the show. So have you played soccer before this? No.
No, but I did grow up in a big soccer family. My brother played from the time he was 4 well up through high school. And so I've been around soccer pretty much my whole life. And so there were things that I was like, oh, yeah. I know the concept of that. Whether I can execute it is definitely a different story, but I definitely know what we're going for here. So that was helpful. And then just knowing even just the positions, knowing who does what and where they go, that was really, really helpful to be able to kind of like visualize who, because there are all of these stereotypes about what position you play and the type of personality you are. I mean, within the show, the goalie is practically silent throughout the whole show. And I told my brother about it. And he said, oh, that tracks. So it was just kind of helpful to like know those things coming into the show.
Absolutely. Have you found it challenging to learn some of the soccer moves that you have had to learn for the show?
Some of them have, I'm like, it's that whole ball control thing. And then what on top of that, making it contained into a theatrical space, that's the other challenge on top of it. And then, it's a different type of muscle than when you dance and sing in a musical. Being athletic and saying lines and holding a conversation that's supposed to feel so easy and simple, that's also a different kind of challenge. It's working a different part of my brain than what I'm used to in just a musical.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that. Speaking of challenges, what are some of the challenges that you've faced during the production so far, just from an acting standpoint?
I mean, it's not going to be much of a secret that I am so much older than a lot of my castmates. And so it's that trying to come at this with the same set of eyes that they are, of so many of these actors may be going through some of these things or experiencing some of these things. And I'm well past that. So I've learned some of these lessons. And so it's trying to move back in time of when I hadn't learned this yet and trying to channel what it felt like as I was going through it. And so that's kind of been.
It's really interesting from an actor standpoint, because I know that requires a lot of character development to really just kind of get into that. What are some of the ways that you've kind of found to overcome this challenge?
I think it's just allowing myself the moments in rehearsal to not feel like I have as much experience as I do, like coming in where it's like, wash all of that away. And like all of the things that I've done, all of the acting stuff that, that I don't want to say that I like washing away my degree, but in a sense, like taking all of it back and then just experiencing this very new, fresh, and like submitting myself to the process of rehearsals and listening to the way that we all banter with each other in those break moments in rehearsal and trying to carry that easygoing feeling through, if that makes any sense.
It definitely makes sense. I definitely understand that. And I absolutely respect that process too. I think that's really challenging. I think sometimes as experienced actors, it's really easy for us to kind of fall into a way we do things. And when we have that role, that kind of makes us say, okay, wait, the way I normally do it isn't working. And now I have to figure out a new way to still, let this come through. That definitely, that's awesome that you're getting to kind of stretch that muscle and explore it. Even though I imagine it's
a little humbling. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, wait, I'm the teacher and I'm having to do the learning.
And truly, it's a moment where it's like, oh, no one needs your input right now. Yeah. Like, and because it's so hard to turn that off sometimes. It's like, no, I want to, I'm adding, but it's like, no one needs your addition at this moment. Like, it's fine. Just to be here and take it in. So yeah.
Oh, that's a fun exercise for you, huh? What have some of the highlights of the process been for you so far?
There's so many to think about. I think that for me, it's watching, and again, this is me looking at this as someone so much older than my castmates, but like watching their enthusiasm for theater and for the arts and for just the reverence they all have for community theater, which I think is so important because so many people want to write community theater off, and making theater is hard.
It is.
And so I love the enthusiasm and the effort and the care that they're all putting into it. And so it's been really cool to watch, just all of us discuss our characters with each other, and are you friends with this person, or how, or, I've slept over at your house, or like whatever, they're just coming up with these little stories, and that's been the best part.
That's awesome. That's fun. It definitely, one of the things I love about community theater is that you really see that passion come through, because when you're doing community theater, it's because I love this. It's because this is what I want to do. It's not because you're getting a fat paycheck or you're getting, massive amounts of recognition and fame and celebrity. It really just truly is about the art. And I'm excited to hear that that's going to be reflected in this upcoming show. That's really exciting. I think that always, whenever a cast kind of has that sort of connection and that development process, that it definitely shows on the stage. So I'm excited about that. Do you have any funny stories or wins that you would like to share with our audience
from the show?
Yes.
I mean, I think there should be a blooper reel of just all of us in there trying to play soccer, and then just the accidental addition of other sports of like, oh, now this is turned into a volleyball on accident, or like it's now a basketball, or just a lot of those. We've got to be a bit more careful because I think we knocked 3 audience members in the head. Yeah. So it's just a lot of like errant balls getting away from everybody. It has been kind of hilarious in that aspect. Like watching us all try to navigate it, where it's like, we don't actually have to go all out. The room is much smaller than a soccer field.
Yes. So, that is fun. I wish I had been able to get up here while you guys were training on some of that, so I could have gotten some of that footage for blooper reels. That would have been great. Before we end, can you go ahead and tell our audience why you think they should not miss this show?
Totally. So this show, for me, it is this beautiful coming of age story. And I think that it is definitely applicable for young women, but I do think that it speaks to everyone. And for those people that are like, well, I've already gone through those growing pains. Yeah, but there's something beautifully nostalgic. And I think that it takes an important and like kind of youthful perspective on some of these difficult issues. So it's kind of, you get a perspective that's not the adult perspective on some of these issues, because young people are facing them. And I think that the show really highlights that and does it in a very wonderful way.
That sounds great. It sounds like it's going to be a great show. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can get your tickets online at butterfieldstage.org, or you can call our box office. All the details will be in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't miss out on the show. Again, thank you so much for joining me today, Missy. Y'all make sure to come out and see Missy and the team do their thing. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.